The last thing I'm going to talk about before I go is what things are going to be like for the first month of operation in Wave Shinobi X. There are going to be a lot of features that we're not going to implement right away, and there are a few reasons for this. One is that we want to make sure that our initial base of characters isn't biased or centered around a few clans. And the reason for this is because we really want people to take the time to make their own characters unique and build them from the ground up. And we find that more often than not, by having too many people who are concentrated on clans and other abilities like that, you don't really end up getting a large variety of characters. You essentially get characters that are based mostly on their clan abilities and aren't all that unique. That being said, we are allowing people to play one member of each canon clan when the forum starts up. That means that, for example, in Konoha, we'll be allowing one Aburame, one Inuzuka, one Hyuga, and so on and so on. If you really want one of those clans, apply for them as soon as possible before someone else takes the spot, because we won't be giving out any extra spots until each village is stabilized. And you might hear me say that a few times now, and essentially what that means is to have a stable village, we need a Kage, we need 3 Jonin, and we need 9 Genin. So that is 1 Kage and 3 full teams. And next thing now is customs, because I know everyone's been waiting to hear about this, because that's what it's all about, is custom stuff. Whereas the characters are mandatory custom, there are no canon characters in this roleplay. But as for canon techniques, custom techniques, custom clans, weapons, equipment, summons, and all that kind of stuff. As your character trains and accumulates experience, you will be allowed to create your own techniques or summons and those kind of things. After we open up the other forums, such as the minor countries, the non-Shinobi countries, and that kind of thing, your characters are going to be able to go to these places and use the services of various NPCs to obtain their own custom items. We will allow some custom items starting off, but you're not going to get really much above high grade. The master grade stuff is going to be very difficult to get, and we're going to save that for later on. Next is custom clans. Now this has always been a really popular thing, because you can essentially make a clan with any kind of ability you can think of. One thing I will address right here and now is that one of the main rules of the roleplay at Wave Shinobi X is that we do not allow copyrighted characters to be used. That being said, what that means is you cannot use them in full. You can't have a character, let's say from Bleach for example, you cannot have a Kurosaki Ichigo character with a Zanpakuto or anything like that. You can use, for example, an image of that character for one image of your character, preferably not a direct shot from the anime or manga. Any custom art was really nice. But and as for their abilities, you can base customs off of things like that, because I know sometimes you just can try as hard as you want, but you can't avoid a certain ability completely, because admittedly a lot of stuff's already been done. But I'm just saying you cannot copy the character in full. That includes characters from the Naruto series itself, although you can make descendants of the original characters, Although try and avoid that, because then you got to go through a lot of trouble of actually finding out if anyone else has already done that, and actually having to relate yourself to those people they had. So try and avoid that. It is going to be allowed, but it's generally frowned upon. But yes, back to custom clans. We will be allowing those at the end of the month. You can send applications for that to the clan approval account as a PM. Fill out the custom clan application in the templates and applications forum, and just send it there, and one of the mods will look over it, and if it checks out in comparison to the rest of the ones we had, you will get it through. One thing I'm going to say right now, though, is we won't be allowing a consistent income of those applications. At the end of the month, we're going to be allowing a limited number of custom clans to be used, and the limitation on these custom clans is going to be that if you make the clan, there won't be any one-member clans. If you make the clan, you need to allow at least a certain number of other people to use them as well, because they will be used in the entire roleplay. So from there, customs, like I said, end of the month for clans. Everything else you'll get it as it goes by. And very last thing now before I go is I'd like to send out a couple thanks to certain people. A lot of the people who helped me set up the forums and who helped me do a lot of work here. I originally started the plan for Way of Shinobi X back in June. I ran an previous incarnation of the roleplay on Gaia for a little over a year, and once the summer came, there were a lot of things that I really didn't like about that old one, specifically the limited amount of space that the guild system gives you on that site. Yes, it was that, and the large amount of overpowered characters, which really isn't something anyone likes. So I started the plan back around the middle of June, and I did a full plan for it, and I started working on it then. I set up the board, I started doing the main forums, and I started picking out a few people who would like to help with me, and those are the people I'd like to thank now. First off, I'd like to thank Rager for initially helping me do a lot of the work on the board and discussing a lot of the systems that we put into play. Next is Taite Hakotsu. I'd like to thank you too, because you're another person who did a lot of work on the forums and had a lot of nice input. Next is Lieutenant Jet. We knew each other for quite a while now, back from the old roleplay, and again, you helped us quite a bit, setting up a few forums. I know you're busy and all, but your work was appreciated. I know you haven't been on a whole lot, but I'd like to thank Sky Valentine for the time that he put in to setting up the forum. And last but certainly certainly not least, is Wandering Blue. Like I said, I've known him for quite a long time now. He's an excellent role player, has a lot of skill, and I couldn't have finished the forum without him. Big thanks out to him. And for everyone new, I'm sure you're going to see a lot of these people around the boards. So until then, the roleplay is starting in a few days, and we have a lot of events and giveaways coming up, so be sure to keep an eye out for those. And I'll see you in roleplay. I'm out.